Hi, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started today. Thank you for joining us. We're glad you're here. You are attending the ALMACO Service webinar. We're going to be covering a number of things today from a service perspective. These are going to include your basic introductions and housekeeping in the front end, just to make sure everyone's level set and where we're at. A little bit of a service overview, just kind of talking about what is included within the ALMACO Service platform. Go over aftermarket service offerings, what we do here at ALMACO and what we offer there, and then also a little bit about protecting that trade and valuing and caring for equipment long term. We'll go over really briefly just some current incentives, just so y'all know it is available, and then open it up for Q&A with our director, Matt Titus, here for service. Just some basic introductions. Here's a little bit about ALMACO. A lot of folks on this call know ALMACO pretty well, some folks don't, but we are a total solutions provider for seed research equipment for all of your needs. So everything from seed processing systems, planting systems, field systems, and harvesting systems, we cover all of that. We also have a robust aftermarket service, which is what we're going to be covering here today. Engineering services. So if there's something that you need to advance your seed research operations, that's something we can help with, as well as manufacturing those solutions here to kind of further your operational uses. And then some financial services. So rentals or leases, different financial support systems is something that we offer here as well. And some basic introductions. So I'm Lisa Dirksen. I'm the marketing manager here at ALMACO, and with me is Matt Titus. He is the new service director here at ALMACO. He's already doing some great things for us, and we're excited to have him in this role. Again, just some housekeeping. So this is a Zoom webinar, so everyone, the participant, is muted. To ask questions, you're going to want to go to the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen and submit questions there. You can do it at any time throughout this process. You don't have to wait until the end to do so. There's also a chat feature. So if you have any technical issues or have any questions about how to use Zoom, you can use the chat function at the bottom of your screen as well. After the event, within about 48 hours, you'll receive a link to the webinar recording, a link to the service webpage, as well as some brochures, and then contact information as well. So you'll get a little bit of a resource packet after this. And with that, without any further ado, we're going to transition this into Matt Titus. He's going to take us through the service presentation today.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining in on this webinar. Thank you, Lisa, for running through the introductions. So we'll just go ahead and jump into it. So today we're going to talk a little bit about our service department here at ALMACO and the different sub-departments, and a little bit more about maybe some things we do that you didn't know we do. So we'll talk a little bit about our 24/7 complete client service. So what that means is we have a call center that's on call 24/7, 365. And, that's evident in what we do here. We like to talk about how we've serviced equipment on 6 different continents last year. We've got techs, remote techs scattered throughout North America that we were able to dispatch to different places. And then we have the 2 other locations in South America at our Brazil and Argentina locations. So just talking about a little bit about what we do at each one. I think everybody's pretty familiar with our Nevada, Iowa, our global headquarters, the main facility. This is where we do the majority of our manufacturing. This is where we warehouse parts. This is where our main service department and call center is. This is also where our engineering department and one of our 3 factory or central service locations is, that's capable of handling all your needs. Uberlândia, Brazil has been around for about 10 years now. It's a facility that started out primarily as a service center, has grown and now has manufacturing capabilities along with some engineering. This also serves as a parts warehouse for South America. And lastly would be our newest location, which is in Argentina. And this is mainly a parts warehouse and repair center, and we have a field tech station there as well. So talking more about our 3 different kind of sub departments within service, that's our call center, our central service, and our field service. And on the next few slides, we'll get into more depth of what each one of those is. So our call center. So this is our 24/7, 365 I mentioned earlier. So when you call in, you get a live person 24 hours a day. And whether that is to, order parts, schedule field service, you can call in and schedule central service through this. You get technical support. You can call in for subscription services like telematics or plot prescription. That's where you can renew them. We also do a lot of fielding of different aftermarket questions, whether that be something you want to add to your piece of equipment, something like a different GPS you want to use in conjunction with a planner, things like that. That's the call center, and that's what you're going to get there. Just some little tidbits for success and to make the best use of your time when you call in the call center. We ask that you have your serial number ready. This is something that we're going to ask for more now and be a little stricter on than we were in the past. Just this helps us help you and keep different cases squared away when we create a case within our system, and we can look back at a lot of history and just keep things on track better. We also ask that you have a type of payment ready when you call in, whether that be a credit card or a PO number, and we do ask that you have a PDF copy of that PO. We also ask that you have your shipping information ready, if we need to ship you a part, so that we can make sure it gets to you on time and to the right place. And lastly, be prepared to communicate your needs and expectations early in the call, meaning, I got a problem with my combine or planner, here's my problem, here's all the information, or, hey, I need this part, this is the part I need, just to help keep it streamlined and keep everybody moving. Talk a little bit about our parts and what we have available. So we talked about the ALMACO make parts. They're made here in Nevada, Iowa, primarily. And we always try to have, common parts in stock at all times. Same with any, what I would call purchase components. We try to stock as much as possible, looking back through history, whether that be planting season, harvest season, what's a common part? What is something that we see that we sell a lot? And we try really hard to have those here so that we can ship them out same day as much as possible. I do want to touch on a little bit of some of the changes that's come out. I'm sure a lot of you received the email talking about our legacy equipment phone support. So starting on April 1st of this year, we will now be charging a fee for that phone support when you call into our Nevada, Iowa headquarters. And this applies to any piece of ALMACO equipment built prior to January 1st, 2015. So at this point, be 10 years old or older. And what that means is when you call in for true tech support, not ordering parts, not schedule service, calling in because I have a problem and I can't figure it out, we will bill at $75 an hour with a minimum charge of $75 per call. And should it escalate to the point of where our engineering department would need to be involved, then that is billed at a rate of $150 per hour. So some things we do offer to people that probably have a larger fleet, we do offer an annual subscription fee of $10,000, and this will cover your whole fleet for a whole year of that phone service plan. So continuing on, just some frequently asked questions. I just put a few up here to talk about. So will I be charged fee when I call and order parts? No, there is no charge when you call and order parts. All we do is we ask that you have your serial number ready so that we can make sure that we get you the right part and get a case created and get it synced up to that machine. And there's more to that, which we can touch on later. We'll talk about a piece of equipment built prior to 2015. So a lot of times, but it's been upgraded. So a lot of times this is talking about like planters. You had a C Pro 360 that was a 2010 planter, and you updated it to a C Pro Elite within the last year or two. So toolbar is old, but the actual planting system's newer. You're not charged for tech support in those because that's kind of covered under that newer generation of equipment. I have a 1980s piece of legacy equipment. I need the right front guard. This is just parts order. Well, I bill for tech support. Well, and something of that vintage, unfortunately, a lot of the parts and pieces were custom made in our shop when everything was very hand built. So no part catalog exists. So this part would have to be recreated through our engineering department and set to be processed by our production department. So this time would actually be billed at $150 an hour. So just an example of what an engineering type of call might lead to. Transition into our central service department. So we did talk about, we have multiple central service departments, the main one being here at our Nevada, Iowa location and one in Uberlândia, Brazil. So, but here in Nevada, Iowa, we have 15 factory trained technicians. Within that department, all of our technicians are trained to do preventative maintenance on all pieces of equipment, all repairs. They are capable of doing upgrades. So you have a planner you want to switch from C Pro to Elite, or you have a combine that you want to switch from an ALMACO bucket to a Harvest Master system, that is something they are capable of doing there. And that rolls it kind of into that aftermarket install too, with that Harvest Master. Another big one is the Harvest Master. I think they call it the multi-chem system that you can add onto a planter. That's something we can install here. We also do a lot of refurbishing equipment. So if you have an older planter, older combine, thresher, maybe it just needs some TLC and you want to get, instead of purchasing new, you would like that totally gone through, we can refurbish that equipment. And then the last part of that is, we talk about downtime events. A lot of that talks to our field service department, but our central service department handles a lot of the bigger repairs. And what that means is they are on call for those downtime events to get that piece of equipment turned in a timely manner and back to you. Key tips for working with central service, we just ask that you provide a chem doc prior to equipment arrival. Usually when you contact, it's usually Zach out there. He will, send you a blank chem doc. He just asks that you fill that out before that piece of equipment arrives. We also ask that you provide a list of any known issues. I know a lot of clients keep notes throughout the season before they send them in for preventative maintenance. We just ask that you provide that to us so that we kind of know what else is going on and we can look into that for you and get it repaired. Provide any expectations on timelines. This is something that's key to making sure you receive your equipment back in time when you need it. A lot of times, we go off of the harvest window and we say, yep, we got to have it by August 15th, but a lot of clients actually need it sooner than that to do their own calibrations and training prior to that season. So just communicating that with us really helps. And lastly, we just ask that you pick up your equipment within the agreed upon timeline after it's completed, just because we've got equipment coming in and out all the time and our storage facility is only so big. Field service, these are kind of the elite of the service department, if you will. So these guys are on call 24/7 too, ready to be dispatched for anything when they need to be. So we talk again, hitting on, we've serviced equipment on 6 continents last year. The only place we didn't was Antarctica, and if they had a piece of equipment, we would go there too. And we talked about, downtime events. These guys are usually on site within 24 hours of a downtime event, and we try to be same day if at all possible. It just kind of depends on your location and where they are in the world at that point in time. So some of the services they provide, again, they can do a preventative maintenance program on site if you would prefer that instead of bringing them into our central service. Any type of repair, hit on downtime events. We can also do on-site installations and upgrades. Good example is I just had a tech last week install a new upgraded aluminum platform on a planter, very similar to the one in the picture there. So that's something that can be done on site. And lastly, these are the folks that are providing the IFOs or infield orientations or application reviews, when you buy a new piece of equipment or you have it upgraded, or if you just need a little extra training. Some key tips for field service, include your contact information for the point of contact and location. So a lot of times if you're a larger company with multiple locations, or if you have a fleet, we just ask that you provide, this is the main contact if I'm going to X, Y, or Z, so that we can get in touch with them. We also ask that you provide as much information about your repair or service need as possible. Same thing, any notes you got, clearly state what you're after. If something's, a lot of times in downtime events, we ask for pictures ahead of time. So some of that is so we can get the folks in the call center going on maybe some possible parts that might be needed prior to the tech arriving, just to help speed up that process. We also ask that you provide a specific machine location. A lot of times this is if it's a downtime event and you're in a field source. We ask that you drop a pin. You can do this with your cell phone and then share that pin with us. That way they can arrive right on site. And lastly, if we're doing a type of PM or other repairs that's typically not in season, we just ask that you have the piece of equipment available indoors if it's an inclement weather or the weather's not real great, or if you're down south and it's 110 degrees in the middle of summer, just to help out our techs as much as possible. We'll hit on some IFOs or infield orientations. So when you buy a new piece of equipment from ALMACO, this is something you usually get with it. And we do offer additional IFOs and sequential years afterwards, if you would like. So what this includes is review and setup after shipment. So you receive your piece of equipment, the tech shows up on site. Basically they're there, they go over it, make sure there's no shipping damage. If something needs assembled, they'll assemble it and they'll, fire it up, run it through its paces, make sure everything's working. Depending on the piece of equipment, a lot of times on a combine, I know they'll do that like the day before they actually do the IFO with the client. So then the second day would be a lot of going over that piece of equipment with them. So it's clean out location, safety, how to use it, best practice to use it. And then they like to do a product demonstration. So on a planner, we like to get them in the dirt with you, pretty close to when you're getting ready to start planting. If it's combine, we like to get them in the field. Pretty close to time we're going to start harvesting, just so all that information is fresh and you are ready to go when you're ready to go. And then lastly, a lot of what they talk about is how to maintain that piece of equipment. So after a lot of that infield product demonstration, how to clean it, how to store it, best practices in that part of it. An application review is more of a, hey, we got this piece of equipment, we ain't used it for a few years and we need a refresher course. So that's something that you can call us and we can schedule with you. And this will include an all day, we say 8 hour, but it's an all day client directed training. Basically, you're asking us questions, we'll go over it with you. We'll do a quick quality check and inspection of any, thing that you have installed. A lot of times this is client buys a certain thing from us, they install it on the planner themselves, and this is just more of the QA process. It can also be a customized training based upon your needs, whether that's new staff, how to optimize your settings and best practices. So now we'll start talking a little bit about our aftermarket services and what we offer there. We like to say we're trying to upserve our clients. It's more than service, it's a partnership. So what this means is when our techs come on site, or even if you bring your piece of equipment in here, we are having our techs go over that piece of equipment, review it, identify things that might be, this is a little outdated, we've come out with something better. And we recommend that to you on a quote, as a possible upgrade to help improve your processes, to make you more efficient. And we also are, if our like a field tech's on site, they're looking for things like you're doing something a certain way. And they're like, hey, ALMACO's got this thing that'll improve that process. Or even if you can come to us as well, if there's something that you're curious about, if we can improve upon, if we could engineer something to improve how you do it. That is something they're also there for. Preventive maintenance. So this is a program that we do on all of our equipment. And the main driver behind this is to increase your uptime during your peak seasons. So what is a preventive maintenance plan? So we do offer PM and fleet service plans, so that it's designed to lower your overall cost of ownership and to give you a fixed cost for the year on your piece of equipment. So I'll just hit some high levels. So a lot of it's like oil changes, air filters, making sure your software is the latest version, up to date, doing a thorough inspection of that piece of equipment, turning it on, making sure everything works, identifying things that don't, and then coming back after the PM with an inspection report and walking you through that of what we say needs to be repaired to get you through the season, what we recommend to be repaired, and then any possible upgrades. We can do these at either our central service location if you would like to bring that in, or we can do an on-site preventive maintenance as well, whatever is more convenient for you. And we also like to add in that we do offer a discount structure on our PMs. So if you are a site that has 4 pieces of equipment that you would like done, we do offer a discount on that. It doesn't matter in the mix. It could be planters and combines, could be all planters, could be all combines. Just something that we do offer. So talking about the different equipment, so I think everybody's aware that we do planters and combines. That's pretty common, but we do offer PMs on threshers. We do offer PMs on seed processing lines. Things like those of you that have our power plant system and have carousels, we offer a PM on that. And then we also offer other PMs as well. So that last picture, that's our 8PX packager. We do offer a PM. Typically that's in paired up with a combine, but we do offer those if that's all you would like as well. Talking about our equipment warranty, so on a new piece of equipment today, it is sold with a 2-year warranty with the additional offering of a potential 3rd year that you can purchase as well. And then we also talk about our service warranty. So a service warranty is anything that we work on is covered for 1 year after that. So if we replace the bearings on an internal conveyor roller in your combine, that repair and those parts are covered for 1 year after that, just as an example. Talking about our industry leading support, so something that you're gonna start seeing is a DocuSign document when you buy that new piece of equipment that's gonna come out, and basically this is gonna be stating this is your warranty, this is what's covered, and then we just asking you that you sign it, and then so you understand what that warranty is, and then we file that in our system. We use Salesforce, which we create assets in. So if you buy a new planter, there's a serial number, this document is signed, it's in there. And we are able to keep track of that warranty for that piece of equipment, and it's also a document for you so that you understand that warranty and what it is. Combine telematics, for those of you with R series combines, know that we have telematics on them. So what this is, it grants access to you, the operator, and ALMACO to real-time data on the machine to look at the settings. You know, if you have a problem in the field, we can go in and look at, you know, error codes. Some things it offers those, it's uptime performance and efficiency. You can look at the location of the machine. Just some really great benefits with this option on these machines. So just some data from that we can talk about. Typically, we can resolve 30% of our cases without dispatching a field tech by remoting in to the telematics on a machine. So what this means is you got a code that comes up, it's for a slow rotor. And then since we know that, we are able to troubleshoot over the phone and look at the different things, and we can actually look at the real time about, you know, when did something start slowing down, when did something start throwing an error, and we can look at the conditions and kind of walk back through that timeline and figure out how to fix that without sending that tech. We can also push software updates without an on-site visit, which is great because that saves time and money for scheduling that on-site and paying for the travel. It also allows those of you with multiple pieces of equipment or even a single piece of equipment to monitor that machine remotely. So if you've got somebody else actually operating that machine remotely and you're sitting at home, you can log in and actually watch the location of that machine, watch the settings on that machine. You know, is it moving, is it stopped, and just all those types of deals to help improve the efficiency of your seed trials. So something kind of new that we're starting to do at ALMACO in the service department is service engineering. So we're going to call it the custom solutions you need. So what this is going to talk about is anything that's a unique need, kind of that customization of that piece of equipment that we can offer our support and help in. So just from a high level, you know, things that would be included in this would be like a new product or accessory. I hit a little bit earlier, like the Harvest Master Multichem system on a planter. So that's something that you can purchase and we can install. But it could be as small as you want an additional cup holder on your planter, and that is something that we can create and install on your planter. So whether it be anything aftermarket you want installed, or even a custom design thing, that's something that we're gonna start doing through service at ALMACO. So some things that maybe wouldn't be done is you got a whole combine you want redesigned, that would still run through our normal engineering department. But the smaller items is what we're looking to do through service. So other services, we'll start hitting on a few of them. So some additional options that maybe some of you know about, some of you don't, is we do offer some cone and seed meter tuned up, so you can remove that cone or seed meter and ship them in, and we'll go through them here if you would like, instead of doing a full PM on a planner. We can do product model conversion, so a good example of that would be upgrading a Seed Pro 360 to an Elite planner. Or another option might be upgrading, again, an ALMACO bucket to a Harvest Master system. We also do competitive equipment conversion, so this is, converting a competitive planner into an ALMACO solution, whether that be Elite, Seed Pro, whatever works best for you. Solution upgrades, we talk about upgrading a Seed Spectre Vive to a D1 collection unit. That's something we can do here, we can do in the field. Adding accessories, if you got a combine you'd really like to package with, depending on the model, that is something we can do. We can add a packager to an existing combine. We can add, a bag tank or a bag holder of some fashion to a combine. We can, anything your heart desires, I guess we are capable of here at ALMACO. And lastly, we do offer a kernel or grain cleaning service for your convenience to prepare a machine for international shipping. Now we'll transition and talking about your trade-in value. So if you got a piece of equipment you're looking to trade in the future, there's some tidbits to help keep that value where it needs to be. So reduce the wear and tear is probably the big one. Each piece of equipment has specific setting ranges and best practices for optimal performance. We try to provide those, like with combine, there's a cheat sheet, and a lot of the operators manuals for the different pieces of equipment have suggested settings. We'll add that deviating from these can lead to unnecessary wear and tear. If you're pushing a piece of equipment too hard, you can see some abnormal wear on those. And then lastly, is following equipment guidelines will increase your equipment's lifespan and trade-in value. Also, we recommend regular maintenance on them. This kind of talks about our preventative maintenance. We do recommend you do a preventative maintenance plan every year. One, it protects your uptime by identifying issues before they escalate. It addresses the minor concerns early to prevent further ongoing damage. So that's kind of comes back to what I mentioned earlier when we quote something, the must do, the recommended, and the upgrades. So these are the recommended items. And then typically a machine with a proactive maintenance schedule often receives a higher trade-in value for greater purchasing power down the road. Understanding wear. So there's some examples here on the right. A couple of them are extreme circumstances, but normal wear versus excessive wear. So understanding that difference, right? Wear is crucial in maintaining the equipment value. So excessive wear often occurs from unoptimized settings or by not having regular service. Watch components prone to wear and tear, such as belts and bearings, and replacing parts with wear prevents larger issues that keeps equipment healthy. So like the normal wear, there's some examples of the belt lacing just over time it's starting to fail, or you got a seed funnel on a meter where they're starting to chip at the top. The excessive wear at the bottom, what we're saying there is it's better to keep your piece of equipment clean to prevent any issues down the road and just maintaining that. And then obviously the last picture there was some pretty heavy damage that occurred. Prompt repairs. So repairing the equipment as needed. So when it breaks, we recommend getting it fixed. Don't prolong it. Don't push it down the road and keep using it. Regularly assess the equipment condition, making sure that it's working to optimum performance. Don't delay your necessary repairs, because that just leads to bigger problems like downtime or reduced productivity. Timely intervention prevents further damage and contributes to a higher trade-in. All things that are good. I'll talk about equipment storage. So proper storage is great for these. We recommend you put them in a dry building. One, this helps prevent any issues down the road. It also helps improve that trade-in value. So a dry, clean building, try to keep them protected from the elements, try to protect for rodents, put out some poison. We recommend that all the electronics are removed from the piece of equipment, stored in a climate controlled environment. Things like airlocks on an R2, we recommend you fog them so they don't rust. It's best to clean the piece of equipment for putting it away for the season, just some generic stuff. Typically all these items can be found in your operator's manual of your piece of equipment, or if you have questions, feel free to call in the office and we can point you in the right direction. So let us know how we can help. So regularly consult with ALMACO on maintenance techniques, updates, and best practices for equipment use. So if you call in, these are all things that our technicians here in the call center will be able to help you with. Leverage ALMACO for the resources and expertise in troubleshooting issues to identify other solutions that can help you. So again, call in, we're here to help, we want to help.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. I really appreciate that. I'm not going to take up too much of your time with this, but I do want to pull in just a little bit on our current incentives just for general awareness. So right now we're running a R1 pricing program. So it's a limited time pricing promotion on the R1 single plot research combine. We're having a specialty price here. You can see our corn package and our soybean package for the R1, both priced at $458,550. For the corn package, that comes with your R1 base machine and premium cab, your premium tires, and you have an option between the 60-inch or 66-inch wheel centers. You have your adjustable corn sieve and your concaves, quick attach throat and 2-row corn head, Harvest Master H2 system and installation as well. Your rear discharge chute, cyclone with air delivery, your upgraded transfer auger system, and then your 40 bushel grain tank with standard unload auger. So that's your corn package example here of kind of everything that we think you would need for a corn harvesting for this promotion. We also have a soybean package that comes with your R1 base machine, premium tires, so your 60-inch and your 66-inch wheel center options, 16mm soybean sieve and concaves, your quick attach throat and 60-inch draper head, Harvest Master H2 systems and installation, your rear discharge chute, cyclone with air delivery, standard transfer auger system, and then a 40 bushel grain tank and standard unload auger as well. So those are our different packages for corn and soybeans. That said, additional customization can happen within these structures too. If you want to add accessories, if you want to do some different modifications for what you're looking for, or even different crop scales here too, our sales department can help you figure out what that looks like for you. So to just contact us if that's something that you're interested in. We also will have a demo unit that demos are going to start in June. Those are limited due to popularity and they come, first come, first serve basis or so. So you're going to want to get on that schedule here pretty quick. So contact us if you're interested in that. And also we have a Seed Pro Elite demo unit available to demo as well. We have one here based in the United States and one in Brazil too. So again, limited due to popularity, first come, first serve basis. So if you want to get on that schedule, please contact us at your convenience. And with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into the Q&A portion. All right, let's see. We've got a couple of questions. What about equipment that has a current year's PM service? Will you be billed for calls on that?
Yes, for equipment that has current year PM, you will be billed for phone support. So if you do purchase a PM for a planter or combine in 2025, any phone support you would call in would be billed for in that same year.
If that falls under the legacy.
As long as it
scale.
falls under a legacy piece of equipment, so a piece of equipment built prior to January 1st, 2015.
All right, another question on the legacy program. So for the annual subscription fee for legacy equipment phone service, is this $10,000 per company? You said whole fleet, but is this for whole company or just one location?
So that's a good question. But this is for the whole company. So if you're a large company with multiple locations and you purchase the $10,000, this does cover your whole fleet company-wide for any call that would be taken at our Nevada Tech Center here. And that also includes, if you're a university, that also would apply to you as well.
Okay. Will there be a way to order parts online in the future? Now with the charged phone rate, people are interested in maybe some more digital versions. What do you think?
So it is something we are looking into. We've been asked this multiple times in recent time, and we, again, looking into it. We are not ready to deploy anything at this time. So I won't promise anything probably this year. But I will remind everybody that when you call in to order parts, you are not charged a fee for ordering parts. You are only charged a fee for actual tech support.
Great questions, y'all. Keep them coming. Okay, I've got another one. Let's see. How can I find out the year of manufacturing of a piece of equipment? That's a good question.
Oh, that's a great question too. So your serial number. So your serial number usually starts with a letter, depending on the type of equipment, and then the first two numbers are the year it was manufactured.
So, just to piggyback on a previous question, you said whole company for the legacy program. Now, what about USA and Brazil? Is that still $10,000 charge or more? That's a good question about what regions this is covering.
Yeah, so that's again, good question. So if you purchase the $10,000 fleet plan, if you will, that covers any call we take at the North American facility here in Nevada. So if it's somebody from Brazil and they call in here, you're covered. Brazil, excuse me, ALMACO Brazil is a separate entity technically, and they are doing their own plan down there. So I think that answers it.
If multiple calls are needed to complete a repair within the same hour, how would you be billed?
Yeah, so you are not billed per call. It is cumulative time. If it takes 10 calls and we get it all done within an hour, you're only billed 1 hour.
Good question. Okay, so about the PM service and getting billed, what happens if an issue comes up regarding, like related to the PM? Would you get charged for that call if it's specific to the PM?
So that's a good question. So if it's something, for example, it's something that we worked on and repaired during the PM, and that would fall in our warranty category, you would not get charged at that point in time. I think that's what you're asking.
Mhm. Perfect. We do have a question about parts quotes. Who's responsible for that at ALMACO? Is there an email address you would recommend, or how would you approach contacting ALMACO for parts?
Yeah, so for parts, I recommend for an email address call or emailing service@almaco.com. And one of the folks in the call center will receive that email and be able to address any needs that you have.
Perfect. Any more questions? It looks like I've got one here. What are your plans for service implementation in European countries? Just due to time zones, there's only a few hours in a day that are kind of overlap there. What would your recommendation be for countries in Europe or Asia, Middle East, Africa for contacting ALMACO service?
Sure. So at this point in time, there is no plan to necessarily station somebody in those regions. But we do have our call center that is available 24/7. If you send an email, you may not get a response right away. So if you need something right away, we recommend a phone call. Some other things that we're going to start implementing is when we know there's a known issue, it is doing some type of offset hours with our techs or people in phone support to better serve our clients in those regions.
Yeah, good question. Any more questions? Yep, looks like that one. How will not upgrading electronics on the SHP 50 combine for us affect our harvest?
Good question. So know that, assuming your SHP 50 is still running, a Seat Spectre 5 or an LRX, know that we are no longer supporting those via parts service or tech support after January 17th of this year. So if you have a problem with that, you're kind of done with that piece of equipment. So to alleviate that concern, we recommend upgrading to our new D1 units.
Can you talk a little bit about why we made the choice to transition to D1?
Yeah, so our older pieces of equipment, so Seat Spectre fives has been out of date for some time, so the LRX is probably what more people are familiar with. It's just due to a component availability mainly, and just that piece of equipment being so, at this point, I guess, outdated, that we felt the need to upgrade to our D1 with more modern componentry and availability.
Really good question, y'all. Let's see, what else what are your plans for continuing to improve the speed and quality of service for ALMACO from each department?
Good question. So we are working hard to add resources in our field service department, central service and tech center. And with adding those, working diligently to get them trained and improve the training of our current resources as well. As fast as we possibly can to better serve our clients and their needs.
Yeah, this is a good question. What is being done to D1 for continuous improvement? Can you talk a little bit about some of the advancements we've made since the first iteration to the next?
Yeah, so there is some new advancements coming out with the D1. Specifically some power lights, some external fusing, along with improved connections and improved software. That I believe those will all be officially available in July. The new units.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe for anyone who has an existing D1 that's upgradable as well.
Correct. Yes, we do offer an upgrade kit for those as well.
Okay, perfect. A good question. Any more questions? Keep them coming, y'all. This is great. Oh, here we go. How do you use customer feedback to improve service operations? That's a good question.
So that is something I take very seriously. I guess I welcome all feedback, good and bad, from our department so that we can improve. That is a big thing to me, that I've been pushing for since I've taken over. Trying to put the client first and exceed expectations wherever we can. And we can only do that by finding out where our shortcomings are and improving upon that.
How would you recommend someone provide that feedback to you? I mean, obviously forums like this is important,
This is
but
good. Feel free to send me personally an email if you'd like. That's a good way. Otherwise you can call into the tech center and ask for me. I'd be happy to take your call. That's probably the best way.
great. I'll include your contact info in the packet after this for folks that are interested in doing that. There's also a question about D1 here, kind of a continuation on, is that compatible with the previous system? So talk about like, does that align with your, way buckets and things? How does that integrate within this system?
Sure. So the D1, in one sense is compatible. So if you have an ALMACO way bucket, it is compatible with that. But the D1 does require new load beams when you do the upgrade. And then the handheld or the mobile demand, depending on which mobile demand model you have, it may or may not be compatible.
So you probably just want to reach out to service, kind of feel out what your options are.
Correct.
And
Yep.
we'll get you square.
Yep. Give us a call. We can talk through what you have currently on your machine and set you up, with what you need. We won't oversell you on that. We will set you up with what you need to do that switch.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, any more questions? These are great. Oh, here's a question. Do software upgrades count as an upgrade in the 10 service window service call change?
He's talking about the 10 years.
Yeah, that could be.
So if you're referring to the 10-year window, so typically a software upgrade does not count. What we're referring to as an upgrade is like a complete change of the piece of equipment. Planners are really good, easy examples of that. So it's going from a C Pro system to an Elite system. It's not, I reconfigured the platform into a different configuration, if you will.
Yeah, that's a good question though. There is a question here about the Brazil and Argentinian locations. Is there manufacturing or engineering services available at those locations?
So at our Brazil facility, yes, we do offer manufacturing and engineering services there. Argentina is primarily just a parts warehouse and repair center.
Good question. Oh, here's a nice question. I like this. Matt, can you talk a little bit about who you are and kind of how you've come to the service department, your history here at ALMACO?
Sure. So I've been with ALMACO today's the 25th. So in 4 days, I will be here 13 years. I graduated from Iowa State in 2012 with a mechanical engineering degree, and I started in the engineering department as a project engineer. For those of you real familiar with the details, we had a current product side, and that's where I started as a combine guy. And that's where I spent all my time working my way up to an engineering supervisor and then up to an engineering manager. And then this last fall, I decided to make this switch to service.
Awesome. I love that question. Thank you for asking that. Here's another question. Are you able to send out parts catalogs for different machines to better help the call reps identify the parts needed?
In some instances, yes. Depending on the model of the machine and the age of the machine, a lot of the older legacy stuff, this does not exist. And then on the newer stuff, depending on what specifically you're after, there is not a complete parts catalog for an entire piece of equipment, but we do have some available that we are able to share.
All right, let's see what else we have. Oh, what upgrades are available on the Seed Pro 360 planter?
Today, the main upgrade to offer would be the Seed Pro Elite system, which is an electric drive system over the hydraulic. It offers a lot of different advancements compared to the old Seed Pro system.
Yeah, and I can talk a little bit about that too. Matt, you mentioned electric drive. It's also individual row control. So row by row population is something that you can do with Elite. There's also synchronization between those rows. So you're going to get that clean alley, clean starts and stops every time too, which is nice. You can also have flexible mapping, which is also something pretty unique to this planter. So variable rate by row, variable length by row, and variable length within the same pass, and you don't need to stop to reset those plot lengths too. So that, and then the speed compensation for the planting controls kind of maintain that consistent planting duration. So if you're interested in more information about that particular planter, I can send you some more information after this as well. Great question. Any other questions? I see someone's raised their hand. Where all of the audio is muted, but if you have a question, come to the bottom of the window to the Q&A field on the Zoom window, and you can type whatever question you're looking to answer there at any time. Here's another question too. Are we planning on doing more webinars like this on other products or service programs? I can take that one. I think that this is something that we're working on making sort of a series. We've done several to date. One on D1, one on Elite, one on R1, the service webinar that we're working on here too. So we're going to continue through this. So if anybody has any ideas for topics or particular things that they're looking for, definitely reach out to me. I'll send my contact information as well in the after packet from a marketing perspective. So, but yeah, great question. I'm glad that y'all are enjoying these. Any other questions? Yeah, here's a question. What is the right email address for parts quotes?
The correct email address will be service@almaco.com.
Any other questions? Thanks for being a really chatty group, by the way. Really good questions. Who is the point of contact for parts?
So this would be our call center. There are several people in there that can take that. Good couple to start with would be Cole or Joe in our call center. Both of them would be happy to help you with any parts that you might need.
And you would contact them just by calling or emailing the general
Yeah.
service lines, right?
Correct.
Mhm. All right, any other questions? Oh, here's one, for the R1 promotion. If I want to have additional crop options, how would that impact the price for the combine? So we touched on this a little bit. There's definitely some room for customization in those plans. Corn and soybeans are sort of our standard packages for this promotion. But if you're looking to add something like wheat or some other crop to this, you would just work with your sales department on those needs and they would adjust that pricing for you. That's a really good question. Okay, any final questions? All right, going once, going twice. All right, perfect. Well, if you think of anything else that you'd like to ask, I will be providing the service contact information as well as my information, some different follow-up materials after this as well. So don't be shy to reach out. We really appreciate you being on this call and spending the time with us today. And with that, we will let you get back to your day. So thank you very much. We'll see you next time.